we went down 13,000 feet to the bottom of the ocean to find a tragedy. Now let's go up in space. One of these rich guys has a, you know, he's got like a Blue Collar Tuesday where you can ride up in space on a Tuesday for 150. You get up there and they have an accident and they think, well, you might crash coming back to Earth. Would that be intriguing?
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good wherever the hell you are. Welcome to another stimulating, if not warming, episode of Old Black Men Conversations. I'm your co-host today, David H. Dudley III, also known as Sweet Sunny D, also known as Cakey, also known as Baker. And you are?
Hold that thought. I'm Gary Green, your personal street philosopher, as always. And could you elaborate on the Baker a little bit?
Well, Cakey is related to Baker because Cakey is like I was always cooking, you know. And then I started to bake pies, cakes, those kind of things. So my wife took to calling me Baker because I was always mixing stuff and cooking things.
Okay. Because I didn't remember that back in the day that you were Baker.
No, I
That's
was,
an add-on.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's a. See, the thing is, my wife has a thing for nicknames with me. I mean, I've gone through a torrent of nicknames. Half of them I can't remember that she would
Yes,
call,
you
and,
have.
and then she would, go off to another one. So.
Does she like use nicknames depending on her mood? An example, is Marilyn Farmer one of your nicknames when she's not in a good mood?
Who the hell is Marilyn Farmer?
I didn't want to curse.
No,
Okay.
I got it now.
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No, I mean that's just her. Instead of Honey Baker.
Yeah. Your pet name.
Yeah.
Got you. So I've been thinking about this for a while, and this is relating to nicknames. And I mean, I've been up all night thinking about. Well, that's not true. I was up because I can't sleep, but I thought about it while I was up. Do you think there's an association with nicknames and personalities?
That's deep because I never thought of it. I never thought of it like that because my main nickname, Sonny, was derived because my grandfather was David H. Dudley.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was David H. Dudley Jr. And we were all in the same household at one point. So I became Sonny. Thank you for the,
Wait, so what they call your dad?
Junior. David Jr.
Wait, David Jr. or just Junior?
David Jr.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't think I've ever heard him referred to as Junior, but I mean, obviously I'm young, but.
So and that brings up another subject here. We don't have Cliff today, so I'm probably going to be fat mouthing a lot trying to cover time. But being a street philosopher, I'm always thinking about something, whatever I can do to stimulate you to think about something and to help make your life better, I'm here for you.
Thanks.
So, can you be a senior before you have a male child?
Yeah.
How does that work? If you don't have a male child,
Well,
how do you be a senior?
well, for example, you'd go to Lindbergh High School, you'd be a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, then a senior.
I see what you did.
I feel like I know where he's gonna go with this.
Good one. Dudley hits it out the park. No, I meant like, you know, the suffix, like let's say John Doe doesn't have a male son. Can John Doe be John Doe Sr. before he has a male son?
I don't see why not. I mean, I was, for example, I was tracing Clifford in his background, Clifford Augustus Barnes, and his grandfather was simply Clifford Augustus Barnes, and his dad was Clifford Augustus Barnes Jr. And he's the third.
So that would make him a senior then. Or you say nobody called him that? He never.
Well, it
took
doesn't
the-
look like anybody called him that,
Oh, okay, okay,
but he was
gotcha.
a senior.
Okay,
Yeah, I've only been a senior once, you know. Well, you know, actually, yeah, I've only been a senior once.
but you're the third,
Yeah,
so you're not a senior.
well, not anymore.
When were you a senior if you're the third?
When I went to Franklin,
Of course.
Well, actually, technically, you were.
Bitch
You
slapping
could have been a
myself.
senior 2.5 times. Let's see. When you were at Franklin, right now, technically,
Yeah.
senior. But then also, there was my question. Okay, yes, your grandfather was a senior, your dad was a junior, you're the third. But your first son's also, he's the fourth. So, could that mean, in a way, you're a senior to your son? Or are you always going to be the third?
why would I be a senior to him?
I don't know, because he's the junior to you.
No, he's the fourth to me.
Is he? Or is he the fourth to the family? Because he's one to you.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just trying
I
to.
think senior's already taken though. I don't think you can.
Can't you
All
just
right,
be
you can't
moving
No, you
people out
can't
there?
make a gorilla, you know, muscle somebody for the senior.
Like, let me get that spot, honey.
listen, street philosopher, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Would you,
Yes.
given the chance, go on the Titan, go down to see the Titanic?
That's a powerful question. I've been pondering how to approach that. Let me say, I feel very sorry for those people that died. I'm not into rich people. We take it into account. This is something most of us would not do because we're not thrill seekers and we don't need to do anything crazy like that. But because of my natural fear of water, I mean, I was terrified to hear that what happened to them. Now, to answer your question, no, because to me the Titanic was a tragedy in history, and I guess I'm just not going around following up looking for tragedies just to say that I saw that, especially if I'm 13,000 effing feet underneath water where the pressure is thousands of pounds per square inch. It's not anything I'm likely to do. I'm not likely to go into a cave underground, spelunking to see what was in the cave. I'm not likely to be the first black person in space. No, not anything that
Well, you
intrigues
wouldn't
me.
be anyway.
Well, true, true. But no, it's not the kind of thing that interests me. But thank you for not asking. So, I mean, what's your feeling on that?
Are you out of your fucking mind?
Right here.
mean, that makes absolutely no damn sense to me. But of course, I don't have $50 billion. I don't have $250,000 to waste on something like that. I don't have $250,000 to do anything with. But, nah, to me that's inconceivable. That's white people shit.
Pretty much, pretty much. Our lives are dangerous enough as it is.
Yeah.
Just trying to get from A to B
Right.
and hoping that our sons don't get stopped
Yeah.
for no damn reason. I mean, that's enough adventure for me in America. But no, I mean, there are some things that intrigue me, like when I was flying, right? I will, I have this thing about flying. I've even skydived. Now, some people
Did you
think that's
flap your
great.
arms? Did you flap your arms?
Did I flap my arms?
When you were flying?
No, you hold on. you don't flap.
You hold on and you pucker your butt.
First thing you do, you have this conversation with God the first time. You're hanging off the wing, and then you let go, and you wonder what's happening. Something's happening, but you're not flapping your arm. No, this is not like Roadrunner and Coyote, you know. And you're hanging on. Then once you discover you live, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Look at all those ants. Well, you know. But no. People ask, will I do that again? I don't think so. I'm older now. I probably won't be jumping off garages anymore. I mean, a lot of things I used to think was cool, I probably won't be doing again. Not at that level. But, so.
Yeah. Yeah, the closest thing that I've come to with something like that was I had a dream that I was an airplane, you know, and this part of me was me, and the rest of me was one of those real short model airplanes. And I was flying around and fighting the Japanese. You know, that was the nearest I came.
Yeah, World War II flashback.
That you were the airplane?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But with your head?
yeah.
Yeah.
Were you halfway through a hit? When you get ready to take the other half of the hit, there was a knock on police. You dropped it on the
No,
floor.
you should. Sonny, what you doing in there? Nothing, don't come in here.
Not what you think. Shoot.
No, but seriously, that was the nearest I came to anything like that.
So actually, that prompts a good question. You know, you guys are older now. So what is something, you know, crazy like, I don't want to say sports, but you know, something crazy that you did, and I don't mean went and started a fight. You know, like jumping out of a plane, or have you ever done? Because I don't know if I've ever heard of you doing any like physical crazy activity, Pop.
Well, I really didn't do anything really crazy because I was sheltered, and during that time there was a transition from the south to the north, so all of my adventures were wow. I mean, I like we had neighbors in Spokane. It's the first place we moved to. Little white boy, little white girl, and they actually played with us. That was like something. And then they invited us into the damn house. Shit, couldn't tell us. We were like, us?
Did they have a picture of the Pope or Eisenhower or a president or anything like that?
Well, we were too afraid to go into the house because we thought they.
Oh,
was
you
gonna
were
raid us.
invited, but you was
Yeah.
like, I ain't going. But okay.
But no, I can't. I'll ponder that because I really, like I said, I was pretty sheltered. I mean, I stayed out of motherfuckers' ways. I found some money once.
With this on the ground?
Yeah, it was. I was with this guy named Larry Holmes in Spokane, and there was a racetrack near us, Playfair or something.
Right, Playfair.
And we was just walking around, we found a bag of money with potato chips. It was probably about $100. We took it home to my mom, you know.
Oh, you
never
keep
saw
it?
it again.
Oh, you said mom robbed us.
But that was the closest thing I can think of to a real adventure, you know.
Wow, man.
But that prompted me to walk around looking for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just so as a kid, I always wanted one of the metal detectors. I was trying to find some money. I never got me one of those.
Well, I just use my eyes. We walk up and down the street looking.
Let me see.
Well, what about you, Gary? Okay, so we know that you skydived,
Yeah.
skydiving. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sky diving.
I don't know. I think I went back.
Fell out of a perfectly good airplane with two parachutes on my. Well, yeah. So that was, I guess, on purpose. That was it for me, and a part of that was trying to overcome my fear of heights. You know, so it's like, well, I don't like to go up a ladder, and which is interesting because most of my career I've been in refrigeration. You have to go to the roofs, and no matter how high they are, you got to be able to get there to fix the equipment. But yeah, I guess that was it for me. I got no desire to go running with the bulls, and what is up with running with the bulls, knowing that you might get gored, but hoping you don't? What were you thinking when you invented that?
What was I thinking? I was thinking, wow, what if I get gored?
Al Gore.
And turn into an airplane, a half airplane?
Yeah.
It was all part of the same dream.
And, yeah.
But that's the same question. I mean, whose idea? Well, actually, you can pinpoint whose idea it was to make a PlayStation controller control that submarine. Why would you do that? Why?
Because I seen one of the guys that worked on it. I didn't see him on it. He was on TV. But think about this. They live in fucking Everett.
Yeah.
And I'm not tracking you.
Everett is where all the people who are not street philosophers and not normal, there are some wackos up there, man. And the guy actually said, well, we're thinking outside the box. Always. We were making this, and we knew we were thinking outside the box. And we told everybody we were thinking outside the box. With that being said, why in the hell, because you got the $250,000 to go on the trip, so you got money, why would you research what they're doing up there? And then figure out, because they're telling you, I'm outside the box.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's all privately funded, so they're probably keeping people at an arm's length distance to see what they're actually. But hey, so check this out. Here's a theory, because like I said, Bree and I almost got in an argument yesterday about it. Just on the fact that she's like, I can't conceive why anybody would do this. I was like, yes, that's because we're poor. I said, listen, them ultra rich, they need that other sort of boost in their life. So we don't understand, but it's real for them. So last night we were in the bed and we're watching a whole bunch of clips on this stuff. And one came up and I was like, right up my alley. They said, what if this thing ain't lost at all? Because the first thing is, I understand, it's 2.4 miles down, but there's no tracker on this thing at all. Even if they know you can't read it at 2.4 miles, you can read it at like 1.9. Why wouldn't you put a tracker on this thing? All the money that went into it, you can put a tracker on a car and a phone. So why would you put a tracker on this? That's one. So the lady goes on about how they say it goes down, all of a sudden it's missing. It's like all these billionaires just don't go missing. That's not how money works. So they're thinking it's flashing lights, which lead to the next thing. They're like, now you know how normally when something takes over the news, it's like, look here, while something else going on.
Right.
And they say, this is the look here moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because who
Yeah.
cares in
Yeah.
general?
yeah, and why? I don't understand. With all this technology they got going, we ain't talking about the sub. We're talking about the technology that is looking for them. Why in the hell they got 2 hours worth of air left to suddenly say, well, you know, there's debris over here. We just discovered it. What? Where was it at before? Or where the fuck were you at before? You know?
Well,
That made no sense to me.
all of it is starting to, again, once I step back and look, and I'm just like, you know, I don't know if I understand. We are showing a lot of attention to this thing, and I'm like, it's being dragged out, and you know, new details of things that just they're not adding up to me, which makes me lean more toward what else is happening in the world right now.
Right, right.
Because this is consuming everybody, and I'm like, why? 5 people in a submarine might die.
Five.
But people, to quote the movie, people die every day, B. People get smoked like nobody cares. Why all of a sudden, what's happening? Because the media is showing so much preferential treatment to this story. And I'm like, that'd be making me feel uneasy.
And that's a good point, because you are absolutely correct. It sucked me in. I am intrigued by it, and I can't add to what you said. You said it perfectly. There are way more important shit going on right now that's relevant to right now, that has a meaning. Does this thing have a meaning to most of us who are just trying to make it to the next day and not have something crazy happen? No. This has no meaning that I can think of in terms of how my future is going to be good or bad over what I can control. But you're absolutely right. Does that mean, do the people that watch the news tend to care more about what's happening to rich people than well, follow me. Why do they care so much about what happens to rich people versus just, okay, there was a shooting in our neighborhood, we're going to get together, have a meeting, and talk about how to clean it up. How can we get in contact with our youth, bring them back home again, try to get them, you know, off the streets before they're 14, running around shooting and killing each other. But look at the shows, some of the most popular shows, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous, Mega House. Why are people intrigued by? I'm not intrigued by that, because
I mean, I think I get why people are intrigued by that, just because it's that other side. It's like, and I'm putting up quotes, it's like pulling the curtain back and seeing the other side. Even though most of the time in TV shows, all that stuff is fabricated anyway. Right. To people who feel like, well, I'm never going to get to see luxury, that's why people are so enthralled with these people. So to your point, I think that's part of the story, part of the allure of the story is, ooh, this is happening to rich people. Not just regular people, rich people. What's going to happen? They got some rich superpowers that's going to help them get out of this. Right. So I think that's definitely part of it, part of the allure.
So if I may add to what you just said, let's go and
no.
Damn.
Man, you're always picking on me, man. Cliff will say something, you'll give me the dirty look. So, okay, I'm not going to say this because you cut me off, but if I could say this, this is what I would say. We went down 13,000 feet to the bottom of the ocean to find a tragedy. Now let's go up in space. One of these rich guys has a, you know, he's got like a Blue Collar Tuesday, where you can ride up in space on a Tuesday for 150. You get up there, and they have an accident, and they think, well, you might crash coming back to Earth. Would that be intriguing?
People will watch.
People would watch it.
Oh yeah.
Even though, like it's Taco Tuesday, we're not rich. We're just regular poor people.
Well, see, I think, okay, actually, I'm not gonna lie. I was checking the email just now, so hopefully I didn't miss the first part of what you said. But if we're saying we know that a spaceship is coming back and it's gonna crash.
Yeah, like, okay, this is rich people.
Yeah.
13,000 feet underwater.
Yes.
Now, let's say Poor People
Oh,
Tuesday.
poor people. Okay, I see.
Poor people go up into space, and the rockets. You okay?
Yeah, you heard that all right.
Yeah, man, that's old man shit, man.
Whoa. Yeah, no, I'm
It
good.
just hurt for no reason.
I'm telling you, that popped up for you.
So poor people go up in space, and something happens, and they can't figure out how to get the poor people back to Earth. Would people still watch with the same amount of enthusiasm as they're watching?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
Because, again, you think of things like going down to the depths of the ocean in this very rich, stupid way. Or going up into space, which only a finite amount of people have done or can, or going to have the opportunity to do.
Or have the ducats to do, because that costs too.
Yep. So to go up, first of all the poor people are rooting for somebody normal and poor to go up and confirm. Because we're not going to trust, I don't trust Jeff Bezos. I went to space and I seen this. I don't believe you. You're rich. You're on the other side. But, you know, if Henry down the block, you know, got the little lottery pick to go on the space thing, I'm going to believe you because you coming back to the block. Tell me what you seen, bro. We're going to blow this up. Tell me the truth.
Right.
I'm going to trust. So I'm rooting for him to go up.
Okay.
And tell me now, if they get stuck, then I'm going to be like, oh, my nigga's up in space. Actually, that's probably a hashtag, my nigga's in space. Bring them back. You know what I'm saying? So I think people pay attention because now it's like, okay, there's regular people up there. If they happen to get back, that story's going to be even bigger. So I want to watch the whole thing go on.
Okay. Would that have more of an allure to you than what's happening now? Like what we were talking about earlier? Why are we so intrigued by watching?
You know, okay. Let me ask a clarifying question. Up in the space station, or, you know, up in space and something goes wrong, do we still have communication with them or no?
Okay, let's do like for like. Let's say we don't have communication.
Okay.
Because that's what's
Yeah.
happening.
I think people would actually be more intrigued because at that point, and this is messed up, but people will then be like, okay, if something went wrong and it has the potential to fall back down to Earth, people gonna set up watch parties.
Yeah.
They gonna be like, they gonna Google when is it expected to come back in the atmosphere. They gonna set up on their roof and they gonna watch it like it's a movie.
You have barbecue.
Yeah, you're right, because I would be one of them.
But I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
that's just the way I think we are wired to do stuff.
Yeah.
But do you seriously believe, with all this technology, I can talk and with my granddaughters right now? They in school. They're not here. They're not here in this house. But I can talk to them like they're here and see them. You're gonna tell me that they didn't have a way, they don't have a way to communicate with a motherfucker that goes down, not in a submarine, but in a small. I don't believe that.
I mean, again, and this privately funded, and these are billionaires on here. You're not going to tell me that the money wasn't there to have whatever they think they needed.
I didn't know whether you wanted it warm or not.
It don't matter.
Oh,
I took it away. Thank you.
I'll give you a
It's just that's again, and you're just looking at the logics of it. That's too much money in this little minivan to not have a tracker, to not have a form. Though their form of communication was text message from the boat up top to them, which again they lost about an hour and 40 minutes into the trip. So I again, that's why I'd be like, man, there's too much going on here for me to just take it at face value. But I'm a conspiracy theorist, so.
But it's still intriguing, even though you're not buying into it per se.
Yeah.
It's still intriguing. Is the intrigue
Hello,
that
sir. How are
hey,
you?
good.
Good. Good to see you.
I'm gonna
No,
pull.
come on in.
I want to keep this. I'm gonna put Jesse on that bitch.
Just start.
If he wants to.
Okay.
I was just doing sandwiches. Would you like a Subway sandwich of any sort? We've got a half a turkey and a half a,
And I got teriyaki chicken.
what is it called? Ham.
Somebody said I'm so overwhelmed. Hello.
I'll take a sandwich. Turkey sounds wonderful. May I use your bathroom?
Yes, right, this first door to the
Hey
right.
Jess, let me ask you one quick question. You gonna be on camera today or you gonna be off to the side?
Man, I didn't shave.
Man, if you don't get out of here with that, I'm gonna put you right here.
I don't even have a name.
We already did the intros. You're all right. You come up with the intro. I do believe that regardless of if they're rich or poor, if people got trapped in space and the word from NASA was they could come crashing down at any time, people would make a whole party out of it and set up their lawn chairs and barbecue to watch it come down.
Right.
So
Just to catch you up, we were talking about, do you feel some kind of way?
Are we on?
yes.
We're
Sorry,
always
yes.
on. The camera's always hot.
Jesse's like,
Oh, I guess y'all. Yeah,
It's
it's just
always
you
hot.
can introduce. You don't need a nickname, but you can say hi.
excuse me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Jesse,
Anybody else?
and I guess from here on out, y'all can refer to me as Uncle Jesse. That's what the kids call me.
Right.
Okay. Good barbershop name. Uncle Jesse.
Yes. All right. So, now if y'all were, offered the opportunity to $250,000 aside, would you have the slightest inkling to want to go down to see?
No.
All right.
You said somebody else was paying the $250,000?
Yeah, somebody else will pay. But are you gonna go in that minivan with the PlayStation 2 controller?
No, I'm not.
No
But I
desire
would go.
whatsoever.
I would go into space, depending upon which outfit I was going with.
Which outfit?
Well, there's several people that are offering space.
Oh, okay. Okay.
trips
I
for-
thought you meant like clothes.
Bezos.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them.
Now, why would that matter to you?
The kind of vehicle it is, the duration you're up there, the experience that you would have when you're there. Because each one offers something different. One of them takes you up and you float around in space and you come right back down. Another one takes you up there and you get to go around a couple of times. And I don't know what the other one does, but it depends on what they got to offer, what kind of vehicle I'm going on in terms of space. And they have a proven track record as opposed to these folks with the submarine.
Yeah, true. Now, my whole thing about space, because I want to see some space. I also don't know if space exists, but that's me. But also, I've seen a few rockets blow up on takeoff. That don't sit right with me. I don't like it. Because that's death. You feel me? I mean, I just watching rockets be like, all right, 3, 2, 1, and it starts to lift and the whole thing come crashing down on a ball of fire. I'm like, I don't want to go. If that's going to be the outcome. Maybe I just watched too many movies. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure if these people in the submarine knew what their outcome was, they wouldn't have went either. Remember Clark? Back in the day?
Yeah,
If I'd known we was going to have a flat tire, I wouldn't have come.
Right, it was snowing like the devil's outside. And this guy comes up to me and says, "Can I have a ride?" So he piles in the car with everybody else. We go 10 feet and the tire blows out. It's a flat tire. So he gets out and very seriously said, "If I'd have known it was going to be a flat tire, I wouldn't have come."
Like, thanks, smart ass.
He was serious. We don't know if he had a sense of humor or not, but,
Right.
but he was serious.
Right, because he never smiled.
Well,
He probably doesn't smile to this day.
Okay, but let's look at it not from the advantage of being able to look back. Let's look at, you don't know. Well, first of all, I'm not going to want to think about the possibility that it may go wrong because I want to believe it's not going to go wrong. Otherwise, I'm questioning myself, why are we doing this? Now, typically, I would do the research, right? Because that's what I tell people, don't take my word for it, do the research for yourself. But if I had done the research and discovered this thing had not been certified, would I still Would the exhilaration of going down to see the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean still have the same effect on me, or would I go like, well, you know, this damn thing ain't been certified. Do I really want to do this? I mean,
You know, that's a good question. Do you want to go see the Titanic?
no.
The movie did fine for me. And this is why I watch documentaries. Because I'm not going to say like I'm not interested in things. I am. But not to the point where I'm going to put myself in harm's way. I've been to Hawaii. I still ain't been to see the, what's the record? The ship that went down that's in the...
Was that the Missouri or Arizona?
The Arizona.
Yeah.
You know, that freaks me out, going and walking over that, because they're talking about, after a while you can still hear, well, not now, obviously, but the people that was trapped in there taking the rent, man, that stuff freaks me out, and they're right there, but they are going to die. I don't want, like,
We did
I want no
that
parts of
when
that.
we were in Hawaii.
I don't want no parts of it.
Yeah, we did that when we were in Hawaii.
Well, I ain't been to Hawaii, so I ain't had a chance. Not
You'll
to
be
do
next
that.
year. That's where we're going next year.
Oh yeah.
I had a chance to go to Pearl Harbor, but I chose not to, similar for your reasons, because of what it represented to me, a lot of death and destruction, and it was war, and a lot of lies and misconception as to why it happened.
Yeah.
Because you're a conspiracy theorist, do you buy into the theory that the president let it happen to get Americans behind the war effort?
In a sense, yes. I firmly believe that every war that happens is financially planned out, and both sides, at the top of both sides, they have it financially planned out and they're going to make money, and everything that happens underneath is casualties of war. So I absolutely believe that even if the president didn't have the power to make things happen, he, was silent on whatever info that might have had that may have tipped him off. But that's my, I believe everybody that's in power got some sort of corruption. So that's just me.
Even old man Biden.
Okay. Let me rephrase. Because I think the misconception is that the president of the United States has power. I don't believe that at all. So, as I say, president might have let something slip or let something go, but I don't think they got no power. Somebody put them there and tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So,
I'm having a little difficulty understanding the perspective that you're coming from. Looking back on a historical situation, we're looking at 1941, December 7th, I believe,
yeah.
and it was a sneak attack.
Mm-hmm.
From what I have read, there was some advance notice, but what are you going to do?
Well, and that's the other part.
The fleet is already off of Hawaii. They've got their airplanes, their aircraft carriers, etc. to get their attack going. What are you going to do? The only thing you could have done was get your ships out of the harbor so that they weren't sitting ducks. But other than that, what were you supposed to do?
But that part of where the ships were at is part of the whole theory. They said they bunched them together because it'd be easier to mobilize, but they bunched them together, which made it easier to just take them all out at one time. I had a big problem with that because I'm like, as a kid learning this, I was like, you worried about war and all of our war machines, you decide you're going to stack them right here? Why? Go out there and guard the perimeter, do something. But to have them all in one place just seems like fish in a barrel. Bow!
I think as well in terms of the advance notice, you get advance notice of all kinds of things. You have to figure out which one is real and which one is not.
Yeah.
So sifting through all of those messages coming in to find the right one to act upon it has a lot to do with your intelligence gathering.
Yeah. Because didn't they say that they had a thing on there, but they was like it's a flock of birds or it was some B-52 or something.
Yeah.
That they waved off as like, oh, we know what that is, but they didn't actually check. That was, I was like, oh, see. And again, every time something big happens, whether it be war or like this, the submarine, Again, in my conspiracy theorist mind, I'm like, now wait a minute. This all looks way too picture perfect for a villain, like a script. So what's happening? But again, my mind works weird.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm good.
That's not an accident either. This is where they want us to be.
Not understanding.
Halfway between truth and fiction. And it's easier to keep us at each other's throats when we don't collectively say, okay, this is what's going on. It's not each other. It's those that have and want to keep it all the time.
I think one of the problems that we have today, considering the lifespan that the three of us have had, is the fact that when we were coming up, you had three major sources of information. ABC, NBC, CBS. You had your newspapers, you had your radios. For the most part, they all said the same thing. Now you have Fox, you have News One, you have social media, which allows everybody to have an opinion whether or not they know what they're talking about or not.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to once again, as before, sift through all of this information, figure out what is real and what is flack.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can realize what is real and what isn't is through your life experiences. We've been there, we can see what's real, what is not.
For the most part.
Youngsters, y'all have not developed a strong enough brain, if you will, to make that determination, because you got stuff coming in from everywhere. You don't have no compass to say, okay, well, this makes sense or that doesn't. So you accept everything that comes in, and you can't use what you got always because you don't know what to use.
Yes, I agree to an extent. But see, when you talk about the news sources from back in the day, you had like three major in the newspaper and radio. You said it all basically saying the same thing. See, when you have when all the news of the world is all saying the same thing and nothing to the contrary, that's suspicious to me, because the world is a big place. And so once you start having, now I agree with you, I think there's too much coming in right now. Everybody got an opinion, but also there are more eyes out there that give you the perspective other than CBS, which notoriously only keeps one eye open. Yeah. so their logo, yeah. but so my whole thing is, yes, I do think there is an overload of dumb and unintelligible information coming in, but at the same time, I think more information is necessary than the corporate information that we get, and we say, well, that's law. Them three top networks said it, so that's got to be true. I'm like, it ain't got to be.
Well, I've always been suspicious, because especially back in the day when we had ABC, NBC, CBS, I always was the one that said, because it seemed to me everything was always unanimous. You didn't really have a diverse spectrum of opinions.
Mm-hmm. Hold up.
Back in the day. That's why I was so, if you will, rebellious against the status quo.
Okay, hold on, because this is something, hold on, news, same. So this is the edit that somebody put together.
Jessica Headley. And I'm Ryan Wolf. Our greatest responsibility.
There's a whole bunch of news networks.
The El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities, Mid-Michigan communities. We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
Okay, and we're seeing that.
Yeah, so it's saying basically all of these news things are saying literally word for word script the exact same things. But because they're different, people like, I just like my news source and that's all I'm gonna watch. They're literally saying the same thing on every channel.
That's human nature. You can take 10 people, right, and give them the same story. You could conceivably come up with 10 different ideas about what is truth and what is not, because we tend to navigate toward what we want to believe in, and what we don't want to believe in, we going on at the ground level, which is where we live.
Yeah, and right now I'm facing a real struggle in my brain, because I know Donald Trump is going to get the Republican nomination, and I can't see anybody other than Biden getting the Democratic thing, and I have issues with both of them because I can't conceive of them actually helping the people. But I also know that Cornel West is running.
I had heard that.
What?
I heard that last week.
Dr. West?
Yeah.
I like Cordell West.
Yeah, and he's running for the with the Green Party. Now,
Oh, he ain't gonna win.
you're right, he's not gonna win. But he's again, and that's what's going on in my brain. It's like, what the hell? What the hell?
So
This is the guy that we should give a shot to, yet we got these other two who are the same. I mean, they're not the same guy, but we already know what we're getting from him.
So, what if he cannot win this election, but he's building a block down the line to, have a seat a seat at the grown-ups table? The Green Party is huge, and it's not just, it's around the world. A lot of countries have the same global issues that the Green Party tries to represent. So,
Yeah, but what do you think? I mean, we've had the Democratic and Republican Party do just that for so long, and the Green Party has been around, and the Tea Party and whatever other parties that have tried to get some notoriety and start up, but it's more of the same. So do you even he's running under the Green Party? Do you think, and just being realistic that it's going to make a difference in the future, because we haven't seen a change in the two-party system?
I'd like to respond to that.
Yes.
Two thoughts come to mind. Number one, I think by West getting into the race, it will provide an additional perspective on what the country really needs, where we've been, where we need to go. Mm-hmm. But quite frankly, from the square business side, I don't want to see him do it. I don't want to see him do it because we're in a situation now where approximately 40% is going to go with Trump, 40% is going to go with Biden. 20% haven't figured out what the hell they want to do. Realistically, considering the perspective that West comes from, he is closer to a Democratic progressive stance than a far-right Republican stance. Therefore, when the election comes around and you get to that 20%, where's that vote going to? It's being taken away from Biden, not from Trump. So we defeat our purpose when we do that.
Yeah, that's my issue.
Okay, but I'm going to have a counterpoint for that. Your numbers are correct. Statistically, you're absolutely correct. But when do you ever stand for something? You're standing on a street corner and you're telling people, you know what? This is wrong. Give me a shot to fix it. Now, you're only talking to 10 people, right? But they are 10 people who say, yeah, you're right. I want to believe you're going to fix it. So, God, I hate to argue with numbers because numbers don't lie, because you're correct. But at some point in time, even though I know I'm not going to win the election, I told you I was going to stand for this. And I'm going to stand for this all the way through. So yes, it might be taking votes from whoever, but I made you a promise that this is what I'm going to stand for.
So
And
that
I'm gonna stand for this.
that begs the question: what's more important? Man, I hate to break it like this. What's more important? Your integrity on keeping your word to your constituents, or the bigger picture? Because if you know you're not gonna win, then you're standing on integrity. But that's going to hurt the bigger picture. So which is better?
Well, it's pretty obvious to me. You would want to go with the outcome that you think would provide you the best opportunity to get what you want. And if you already understand the fact that if West runs, he cannot win, if you already go into the belief that if he does run, he's going to take votes away from the Democrats or from Biden, thereby allowing Trump to come in for 4 more years. So what have you accomplished? Along the way, you can just say your piece, you get to tell where you're coming from, what your vision is, etc. But when it gets time to go and put that thing in the ballot box, your name don't need to be there. Because it's a detraction from where most of us, I think, would like to see the country go. Everybody ain't happy with Biden, but there was a whole lot more folks looking like you and me that wasn't happy when Trump was in there.
This is a good debate.
I'm saying y'all talking. I like it.
But how many times, and we're old enough, the three of us, to have seen this,
I'll be right back,
where
guys.
we've been told that the Democrats are more for us than the Republicans, even though, Jesse, you're more about history than I am. The Dixie Democrats
The Dixiecrats.
were more about slavery than Republicans. But how many times have we been told, okay, vote for me, when I get in, I got a chance to win, this is what I'm gonna do. So yes, I vote for you, you get in. Oh, hey, what about what you're gonna do for me? Oh, I'm gonna get to that, but I just need for you to wait a little bit longer. We're gonna get to your issue, but right now I got this thing going on. I got this thing going on. But they never get to our issues.
Well, I think that goes back to the fact that although the President of the United States is the most powerful person in the world, he still is beholden to somebody else and not his constituents.
Okay, why is that?
I believe it's because money talks and bullshit walks.
Follow the what? Follow the money.
Exactly.
So JT, what's your thoughts on, is the president beholding to his personal principles or the puppeteers that are pulling his strings?
I think in response to that, the president is probably pulled in a number of different directions by a number of different factors. If you want to keep your base happy, you have to provide things for them that they think are worthwhile. And sometimes you're pulled by situations like who's financing your campaign, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You might have to dance to their tune. You might have to dance to the tune of business. It depends on what the situation is.
The money.
You know, and we're a capitalistic society. So unfortunately, money tends to be the bottom line with most everything that we deal with in our lives.
So, okay, let's segue into this. One of the problems I have now is trying to convince young people your vote matters. Because, and yeah, at the national level, it seems like it doesn't matter, but at the neighborhood level, maybe you need more response from the city in your neighborhood. Maybe you need a new dog catcher. There are way more political jobs at the lower end than there are at the national end. So I struggle trying to convince young folks your vote matters. But when they see or think they see or hear us saying, well, yeah, it's okay to give up your integrity because we need for this person to win, what are they hearing, what message are they hearing from us when we're trying to tell them their vote matters? If we're telling them their vote matters.
Well, I think I was a young man. My cousin was sitting right where you were sitting 4 days ago. He was in, he lives in his family lives in San Antonio, but they used to live in Olympia. But he was back here because he got his AA and his high school diploma here. Okay? Very intelligent. But his question was, why is everybody trying to convince me that the Democrats are better than the Republicans? And when I look at the record of what's going on, that's not true. That's our problem. We do have some young people who are ready to vote, but they're being pressured by us, they think, to vote one way when they're saying, wait a minute, you taught me, I was taught how to think, I'm looking at this. What you're saying to me isn't right.
Okay, do you attribute it, okay, don't let me steer you to an answer. Do you believe the two-party system works right now in America?
Not at the present time, because with the advent of Donald Trump, the whole Republican Party has completely changed into the party of Trump, which is a party basically that has no agenda. Their platform is blank. Basically, the agenda is whatever the dear leader has to say. That's their agenda. Have you heard of them proposing anything that's supposed to be good for the common man? All you hear about is revenge. All you hear about is the past. All you hear about is Hunter Biden and a laptop. What are they talking about that's forward thinking? At least with the Democrats, they're telling you, we're trying to take care of your Social Security, we're trying to take care of your Medicare. By the way, with a Democrat, that you got Social Security, that you got Medicare. If you just go back in your recent history, the last election we had, it was won by a Democrat, meaning Biden. At the time we were in thongs of COVID, we were losing 600,000 to 700,000 jobs a day or a month. The economy was down the tube, nobody was working, everything was shut down. Go back 4 more years and you had Obama, right? Obama inherited his job from George Bush. When he inherited the job from George Bush, the economy was in the tubes. People were trying to figure out how they're going to make their mortgage. People's homes were being foreclosed on left and right. So in essence, what I'm saying, when Republicans were in control, it's like we're riding down the road on a highway and they crash the damn car. The Democrats come in, put the car back on the road, drive down the road another 4 or 8 years, the Republicans get in, crush the damn car again. So if you just look at what the history says, that'll give you a clue as to which party you think is really doing something for you.
Well said.
Yeah, remember earlier I said, this is designed to keep us confused because
Right.
it is totally confusing. Because I actually believe with Jesse, statistically, but I don't, because I'm tired of the two-party system. It's hard for me, Gary Green, street philosopher, to see a solution with the existing two-party system because, like you mentioned, the 20%, neither party represents who's on the fringe, but their day-to-day issues are real. So,
Yeah, my oldest grandchild is very, she and I talk politics all the time. And she is more like her cousin I said was sitting there the other day, in that she passionately believes in change. She passionately will go out and vote Democratic, but she is still, like Jawan, that's his name, going, I'm not quite sure the Democrats are the ones, and it's not, and it's, they're just not quite sure. And I think one of the major things when they look at it is, weren't the Republicans the party of Lincoln? Well, so what happened to make that change? And we haven't adequately been able to explain that to them. And I'm talking to them as like a whole generation. But I think those voters, those young people out there,
What are their attitudes, and maybe you haven't had this conversation, at the local level, where politics is more closer to home than it is at the national
I
level?
think that's a problem. I think they are with all the social media, what we tend to do, for example, in media is, hell, when's the last time you saw an article about a football player or a basketball player in the Metro League?
Wait, are you asking? Were you just asking?
That was a question.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, I guess because I don't get the newspaper on a daily basis. I haven't been keeping track.
Okay, well,
That's
I'll
my
answer
fault.
for you.
Okay.
You don't see nothing. Because everything's national. Everything is the
Yeah, I see where
Huskies
you're-
or
I see
the
where you're going.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
It's not local.
I see one station that
Yeah.
I watch, and the guy, I think his name is Chris Egan, I think he tries to bring in the kids, the local high school, junior high, whatever. I think he tries to give them some coverage. But like to Jesse's point, when we were coming up, there were 3 major networks.
Yeah, but there's also locally 2 newspapers.
Okay, all right, so,
And my point being, those newspapers, I got my name in a newspaper.
recently.
No, when we were coming up, when we were in high school.
Oh, yeah, okay, so you're going back to the print media.
Right,
Right, okay,
I-
got you, okay.
Because that's a big deal.
Okay.
Now, those kids that are out here, and they do their stuff out here, they used to have 2 newspapers for the entire valley. Now they don't. Now they have 3 local newspapers. But they still get their stuff in those local newspapers.
Okay,
The facts tries to cover that in Seattle
right, in the media.
and the media.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it goes in those communities. It doesn't spread any further.
Well, okay, the news has gone from, I'm gonna give you 3 stories a night, they're gonna be well researched and in-depth, to now sound bites. Everything is a sound bite. How can you have 8 different stories in a half-hour time period and get anything concrete out of that? You don't. It's just, let me get this sound bite out here.
You know, I think that just kind of going back, I think more to expound on what you were saying with young people today, with there being so many sources of information coming in, and I'm not even gonna say young people, everybody is more concerned with what the national news, what the national policy, everybody is seemingly so concerned with this big umbrella of laws, but nobody, or not as many people that should be, are concerned at the local level, because that's what affects people the most. You have these big laws that say no more abortion, no more abortions, blanket statement, and that gets everybody up in a frenzy. When in reality, that's the blanket statement for the country, but the states have the right to actually say yes or no, but nobody's paying attention to their state. Everybody's paying attention to this big umbrella. Let's fight the man. No, go to your Congress people.
Yeah.
That's how you fight, but that's the disconnect. Everybody's so concerned with the biggest picture that you're not looking at the small pieces that make this big picture up. Which is, I think, is ultimately where the failure comes in
Right,
of not getting things done. You have to get your local stuff done in order for it to make a national splash.
And if the media, your local media, is not the same as it was 20 years ago, then you're not going to get the same kind of response
Yeah.
from your young voters who are just learning. I mean, who are paying attention, but all they hear is the national stuff.
Yeah.
They don't hear about the local stuff.
Something you said earlier struck a chord to me, that like your nieces and nephews, you talked to them and they were, okay, let me make sure I don't misrepresent what you said. Steered toward voting Democratic down the line. So is that better today on June 22nd to have that attitude, or is it better to, I don't care who you vote for, just vote?
In my estimation, where I'm coming from, because this is how I am not a Democrat, but I'm not a Republican. But I've voted every single time I've been eligible to vote.
Yeah.
Voted Democrat, or has that
I've voted for Republicans, I've voted for Democrats.
actually, yeah, I was about to say, I remember you voting for DJ Jazzy Jeff, so you be all over the place.
Have you ever voted for a Republican for president?
No,
No.
but the first time I ever voted for a Democrat for president of the United States was Obama.
So you never voted until then?
No, I voted. I
Well,
just
then
didn't
that means you voted for,
an independent
oh,
or somebody else.
so up until the time that Obama came in, which was what, 10 or something like that?
Seven.
8,
Yeah, because he came
somewhere
in
around
at 8.
there. So prior to that, every other presidential election, you always voted for the independent as opposed to the Republican
Yeah.
or the Democrat that was running.
In my view, whom the person I voted for spoke to me.
So your votes were always third-party votes up until
Yeah.
Obama?
For president.
Got it.
All right, so
But
let me
I
ask y'all
also
this
voted-
question: do you think that it's because some people would say if you're not voting the mainstream, which would be Democrat or Republican, if you're not voting that way, then you're essentially throwing your vote away. That's what people say. Do y'all believe that?
Now, if you're talking on a national level,
Probably.
probably.
Yeah,
On a local
probably.
level, maybe not.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably for national,
Yeah.
and I justify my voting for a third party is because when I look at
You all right now?
Yeah, no, he put his. I was in the middle of sitting down, and I was like, I won't, but my body started to fall.
You've already made one old man move today, which scared me.
Listen, I'm getting there. Y'all, just because y'all are a certain amount of years older than me, you think I can't never be old, okay?
You got to be, you got to grow into being old, man. You don't just get to. There's an app on how to be old. You got to be old to be old.
Listen, my first grown old experience happened when I was 15, and my knee, and it ain't been the same since. That's when this journey of old started for me.
I'd like to go back to something that you mentioned earlier. And for those of you in the audience, I am not always correct on all of my facts and figures, but I did major in history when I was in college. I do have a BA degree that says I
Ooh,
graduated.
he put the ring on you.
You spoke with regards to the Republican Party being the party of Lincoln. You're absolutely correct. Lincoln was a Republican, And after the Civil War, most black folks, when they were able to vote, were Republicans. As time progressed and Jim Crow laws came in and all those other things came into being, the power in the South was basically in the hands of Democratic senators. They tended to be the Dixiecrats, the ones that wanted to take their time and, oh wait, you'll get yours in time, blah, 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 blah. At least there was some movement towards bills like the housing bill, the voting rights bill, all those things. There was movement in that direction. And quite frankly, the parties flipped with respect to black people's support. I would say like Eisenhower.
Was that like 50s?
Eisenhower ended his term in 1959. John F. Kennedy came in January 20th of 1960. Black folks voted Democrat for Kennedy, and our vote has pretty much stayed on the Democratic side since then. That was 1960.
And
Actually, yeah, you can.
And the rumor was, I remember hearing this, that was that Dwight was passing.
What you mean, like?
Like J. Edgar Hoover?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's very. That's astute point to point out is around Kennedy, because black folks like Kennedy. So at least that's what it seemed to me. So definitely, I think that's seems proper time when the momentum as far as Democratic or Republican, where a switch happened.
I would encourage the young people to take a little bit of time and read some history and look at the things that currently are part of our social safety network, if you will. Things like unemployment insurance, things like welfare, things like Social Security, things like Medicare, things like child care credits, things like medical care, where you can finally get medical care with quote-unquote Obamacare. All of those things, including quote-unquote the New Deal, which came as a result of the Big Depression in the 20s or 30s, all of those things came about under Democratic administrations. One more thing, the whole prospect of integration, it was Eleanor Roosevelt who's told her husband, we need to look seriously at integrating our military. It happened under Roosevelt's administration. Now let's flip the coin over and look at what have the Republicans done for you lately. They've taken away abortion rights. They're putting clamps on LBG, all the other letters type of people. They are putting every restriction they can on your ability to vote. They're not trying to get more voters, they're trying to restrict those that can vote. If you look at those local levels y'all spoke about, in every legislature that's controlled by the Republicans, they're squeezing all of us into one little corner, and they're squeezing our vote into one little corner, whereas you might have 20 districts in a state and the population is 40% black, and you might have 2, because they've split the others up and redistricted in such a way that you're not counted for your total percentage of the state, but where you are in those little regions. So gerrymandering, stopping you from voting, your rights to have abortions, your rights to be who you think you want to be, all those things are being attacked by who? Republicans.
Okay, so something you said earlier is correct, and this is where we run into a problem talking to the young people, is us being old people, telling them what they should be doing. How do we spoon feed them with sugar or honey so that they'll want to do the research?
I think the thing is to remind them that you have a brain, you can think, go research this. I think that's the approach to take.
Look around you at what's happening day to day.
But see, some
Why
of them-
can't that give you a clue?
Because common sense ain't so common.
Yeah.
And what what a common the group thought may be on a particular subject now will be attacked for a number of reasons by this younger generation. Some of them have a complete opposite belief of whatever we think is right. They think the opposite, and they are heartfelt and sincere about it. Some, and you guys know this because this ain't nothing new. Some people just want to disagree to disagree. I ain't got nothing going on. This issue doesn't actually affect me, so I'm just gonna throw some mess in here, and it turns into a thing. I think when it comes to things, it's like, why can't we see eye to eye? As you pointed out, the Republican Party, you can pinpoint the things that they've done
or haven't done.
or haven't done. But to some people, those things that they have or haven't done aren't important to them.
There should be.
Should be. But why do them poor white folks vote for Trump when he's talking about drain the swamp and get rid of the rich people? He is the rich people, you are the poor people, and you're voting for him. Makes no sense, logically.
I agree with that.
But
I agree with
it
that.
happened.
It makes no sense on that point. But they do.
So, and all I can say is, that's America for you. God,
Republicans do a good job of putting black faces strategically where you're going to see them. And, you know, there's an old saying, which escapes me now, I'm having a senior moment. All black folks ain't kin folks. So, yeah, you got a black face, but your message is not anything to help your community that you came from anymore. No, all skin folks.
I was about to. I
All
had it. I was
folk.
skin poking.
The senior moment, it came rushing back and it hit me. So they do a good job for that. Would you subscribe to the idea that maybe the Democrats could learn some lessons from the Republicans on how to fight dirty?
I think one of the things that the Democrats could learn from the Republicans is messaging. If you notice, Donald Trump has been saying the election has been stolen since he lost. The message is consistent, the message is the same. He doesn't change, he doesn't waver. That is what he has sent out there, and people are sucking it in and believing it. So Democrats need to start telling their side of the story and be consistent and keep telling the story.
And it would not hurt because Donald Trump, for everything he is and he isn't, he is a showman. Yeah. He grabs your attention, low key, kind of funny. And so sometimes that's part of it. Having the face, you can have the greatest message in the world, but if your messenger's trash. So, I think that's also part of it. I think he grabbed the attention one way or another of the country and has had a chokehold on that, unfortunately, wishing to be somebody else.
There's too much of the population of America is not looking for it to get better. That make America great again. I have no idea what that means because to me, America was great before Europeans landed. But
I was about to say, that's the question you always ask, make America great. When was it great? Tell me.
Well, make America great is just like they said. Make attorneys get attorneys.
Make attorneys get attorneys? Okay.
How many of Trump's attorneys need attorneys right now?
All of them. I think. I don't know everybody.
Your attorney's attorney needs an attorney.
Calling your attorney's attorney. Hey, you got a reference for an attorney, brother?
He having difficulty trying to put together a defense team right now because everybody says, hey, he ain't going to do what I tell him to do, and he won't keep his mouth shut. And every time he get out there and run his mouth, he digs a hole deeper and deeper.
What's it? One thing we're watching, and he was with the military. And he said, yeah, the military, we're doing some great things. We have this thing coming up. He said the name of it. He's like, but the colonel can explain it. Colonel, you want to tell him? And he said, no, sir, I don't think we should.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like you talk too much. Hush.
Remember the joke when he was president? We used to joke. They didn't give him the real launch codes.
Oh no.
That's because he stole them and took them to Mar-a-Lago.
So they chilling
He
in the
played
president.
Nintendo with the launch codes. But yeah. So,
We got about 5.
okay.
And wrap up conversation. Anything you
Wrap
guys
up
want to end on?
conversation.
Yeah, young people, open your eyes, open your minds, get out there and read. Read some history books maybe, because in order to understand the present, if you have a perspective on what's happened before, it gives you a little insight as to what's happening right now. Do not keep your head in the sand. Get out there and find out what's happening in the world. You have the ability. There are so many ways to find out information now. Use it.
I agree. Open your mind. What'd you say? Free your mind.
And your ass will follow.
And that's about the size of it.
The kingdom of heaven is within.
Within. Not out there, but within you. Man, that is so profound.
Yeah, I got that from the book of Clinton.
I realize that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Clinton. I remember him.
So I
not
guess,
that one.
yeah.
Oh.
George Clinton.
George. Okay. Come on, bad. I was talking about Bill.
So you young folks, my nothing changes much about my mantra. I present stuff for you to think about. And what I say, I believe is true. But as usual, I encourage you, do the research for yourself and then come back. And if I got it wrong, let's talk about it. If I got it right, let's talk about what you believe was right about it. But do the research for yourself. I mean, that's all we're asking. Make better decisions than we did. This world is yours now, and we can't clean it up. We're too old. We're just trying to live as long as we can past 65 because we made it past Social Security. So we just trying to get our Social Security miles in. But this world is yours. Sorry. I'm laughing, but you know, there's a lot going on. Most of it ain't good.
Which is a goal y'all should have, is reaching that retirement age of 65. It'll soon be 67.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to that point, you know you've done something right. Because no fool gets to be old in this country.
Oh, that's a bar. No fool gets to be old.
Let me just drop another little pearl of wisdom on you. Personally, I'm 70 plus years old. So when I'm saying this is what my mama told me, this is old school knowledge. There are 6 P's in life. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. If you get the proper planning right, the rest is easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Right?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Okay. One last shout out to spring. No, summer. Summer, thank you for being here. I cut spring out, how many episodes ago?
2.
I had to cut spring out, if you remember. Summer, thank you for being here, and we're going to help you stay here and prosper. Now, you weather report people, stop jumping up and down, high-fiving, patting yourselves on the back because the longest day of the year was 72 degrees. That's what it should be. Stop taking credit because the longest day of the summer solstice hit its mark. I'm out. I'm out. Shoot.
Well, thank you for joining us for a very political, stimulating conversation with old black men. Is that what we are?
Close enough.
I knew that. Anyhow, we'll see you next time, God willing. And peace.
Or not.
Peace.
Same or not.
Or no peace.